Alright, so as you get on Edmodo, you will see there's a full description on today's Edmodo page. So let me go through what the assignment expectation is, and then I'll talk specifically about the story charts and the nonfiction reading list that goes with it. In Edmodo, you'll see the beginning of it. It says you have to have a nonfiction selection, whether that's a novel, whether it's a historical narrative like a Scarlet Letter or something like that. It has to be 250 pages or more, and you're dealing with the time period before 1859. Remember, I'm saying topic, not publication date. Topic meaning it has to be a person, so you can look at the Founding Fathers, you can look at the signers of the Constitution, you can look at early Native Americans. I mean, it doesn't really matter. A person or an event before 1859.
This is the last call for retake pictures or those students who do not have any pictures taken for the yearbook or faculty. This is the last call. You must go to the secretary gym at this time. If you have not had your picture taken for the yearbook, this is your last chance. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so the story chart, once you get your novel, once you get your book in your possession, you're going to take that and divide it into 10 sections. I don't care how you divide it. It can be by chapter, it can be by page number, it really doesn't matter. So just a quick demonstration. This is not going to meet the needs of this assignment because it's obviously new, but it's a book that I just had on my desk. This one happens to be, when I get rid of the index and I get rid of the postscript, there's 331 pages. So if I want to divide that into 10 sections, how many pages would I be reading? About 33, right, for each section. But I do notice that in the table of contents, there are 23 chapters. So I'm going to have some of these sections that are 2 chapters, or some of them that are 3. I don't really care. Whatever's most convenient for you, the bottom line is it needs to be 10 sections. For each section, you will open up this Google document. It's called a story chart, and you will fill out a story chart for each section. That means you're doing a total of 10 of these story charts. For each of the story charts, you also need to access the nonfiction reading response list. That reading response list is attached here at the bottom. There are 31 prompts, and those are going to be where you get to free write and answer or complete the prompt. Okay? So I wasn't trying to be a smart aleck with this, but I was definitely trying to be redundant, and I was trying to be clear. So I put another so to repeat. Nonfiction book, 250 pages or more. It has to be in 10 sections. For each section, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you must complete a story chart, and you will choose 1 or 2 of those prompts from the nonfiction reading response list and complete the last section of the story chart. So yes, I was being redundant a little bit here and very repetitive. So when you open up these 2 links, I already have them open, so I'm going to start with the story chart. The story chart should look like this. Story chart is very simple. For those of you that happened your freshman year, it was a paper format. I just switched it over to an electronic document. It's very much the same. Hold on, Kevin. Let me do the recording part of this, and then I'll answer questions. The beginning of it's very simple. You put your name, you put the date of the day that you're actually submitting that time, so that's going to change. You put what hour you're associated with me, so for you guys, 3rd hour. And the most important part of this first section is making sure you're telling me which story chart submission you are putting in. Let me dwell on this for just a moment. When you're telling me that it goes to a certain story chart, that's where I'm going to put it in the gradebook. I will have my paper gradebook, like what I have. I'll have one of these. And whenever you're telling me it's associated with story chart number 1, that's where the grade's going to be. So if you forget and you have 10 submissions for number 1, you're going to get 1 grade and 9 zeros. Okay, I'm not going to go to this next section and look at all of your page numbers and try to do the research and find out this page number is associated with this one. I'm not going to do all that work. It is so much easier for you just to choose one of the 10 sections and put it there. The other side of that is I know the reality that sometimes you get busy or sometimes your computer disconnects and it will send one that's incomplete. So it is possible to have, let's say you're in number 3 and your parents are ready to go somewhere. It's a Saturday morning and you're supposed to go shopping or you're supposed to go visit someone and you're in a hurry and you're trying to type and your parents are just pushing you out the door and you just can't get it done. That's okay. Submit it, and then whenever you get home, you'll just do it again and add to it. So on my end, I will see submission number 3. And the first one might be a really poor grade. You might get 3 points out of 10. But then I'll see it again. And I'll say, oh, well, this one's actually complete. So I will replace that poor score with the better score. So just a reality check, sometimes that will happen. Whether you're busy, you get sidetracked, whatever, or your computer disconnects and you lose all the material, you might have several of them that are the same number. I'm only going to put it in the number that you tell me that it's supposed to be in. Does that make sense? Everybody clear? Thumbs up? All right, so I don't play around with that. So if you forget and all of them are number 1, you're going to have 1 grade and 9 zeros. It's your responsibility. The next section, put the author, the name, the page number, and then finally the summary. And remember, the summary, just like it was a couple of years ago, the summary is not important to me. And I want to make this clear. While I'm being recorded, I want to make sure this is recorded, and I want you to be clear with what I'm about to say. If you find a website that's devoted to your book and it has all kinds of summaries, it is very possible for you to copy and paste and put it in here. And I'm going to tell you, I don't care, because that section and everything above it is not for a grade. That's just completion. It's just the accountability thing. So if your summary only ends up being 6 or 7 words, I don't care. If it ends up being 18 paragraphs because you copied and pasted from another site, I don't care. You can cheat through this. The most important part is this reading response. And if you're the type of person that's getting a book and you want to fake it, and you're really not reading it, you have it in your possession, and you're really not going to read it, it's going to be very evident in this reading response list. So let me talk about the reading response list. This is the most important section of this. This is where all of your points are coming from. It's here. Not the stuff up above, it's here. This has to be 150 words or more. You need to use 1 or 2 of the prompts from the nonfiction reading response list. I'm going to pull that up in just a second. You choose 1 or 2 of the responses, and you can write about that. If you are really reading your material, this is going to be really easy. If you are faking it, it's going to be very evident because you won't be saying anything relevant. Okay? This lets me know if you're reading the material or not. So let me show you the nonfiction reading response list, and then you guys can stop recording. The nonfiction reading response list, when you open this up, notice it says to be used with the story chart. That's what you're opening up. And they're prompts associated more with nonfiction work. Just a couple of random ones. Number 7, I feel like this part is realistic or unrealistic because. So maybe you just want to write about a certain section of your book. You kind of unbelievable. You didn't understand what it was, and you want to write about it. And maybe you get 70, 80 words as an explanation of why you think that is unrealistic or why you think that is realistic. If you only get 80 or 90 words, then you choose a second one to get you to that 150 minimum. So maybe you choose number 16. Maybe you choose number 16. What feelings did you experience as you read the story? Some of them have some very emotionally attached and driven stories. So you might be going through some stuff. Maybe it's a military type of story, and you got somebody personal in your life that's going through some issues, maybe the post-traumatic stress disorder situation, and this story that you're reading, historical nature, brings up some emotions within you. You have a chance to write about it. And by doing that, you get to your 150 words. Okay? The bottom half has more skill-based prompts. The skill-based prompts are much more academic. It's where you analyze and you're looking for writers' techniques. It's where you're looking for figures of speech. You're looking for any fallacies that might be there. Somebody says something and it's untrue, and you can identify that, so you'll expose that person for being some kind of a fraud. It is possible to do those things. The bottom line is only 1 or 2. I will not accept, if you get into a 3rd and 4th one, I don't accept that for credit. Okay? Because I don't want you writing 3 or 4 and writing 20 words a piece and then trying to get to 150 words by giving me a bunch of these reading responses. 1 or 2. Okay? Everybody good? All right, go ahead and stop recording, and I'll answer whatever questions you might have.